So you had said that you would use this time to kind of regroup or whatever. How has that been?
I think it's been fine. The true indicator will be tomorrow. We'll know more. But, we were able to basically take a couple days off, from being on the court. We did do some, the second day we did some film and stuff like that and some prep. But as far as on the court, we gave the guys a little more time off this week than normal. So, hopefully that'll bode well, but we'll see.
With the emotion of Monday, is it beneficial that you didn't have to turn around and play a game 2 days later?
I don't know. Those are the questions that we'll probably never know the answer to. But it was a good little stopgap for us. We've been going hard. As you guys know, we kind of put ourselves behind the 8 ball a little bit. Early in the non-conference. So, we had to push hard to fight back. So we've been practicing. We've been pushing. So it was good just to have a couple days off. I think that's like almost maybe the first time we've done that all season.
With the number of injuries that ASU has been dealing with, is it harder to game plan?
Listen, I'm planning on them all playing. That's my preparation, is they're all going to play. I don't know how serious the injuries are. I haven't heard anything one way or another. I'm assuming that they're all going to be playing against us tomorrow morning. How crazy that sounds, yeah.
Obviously, Josan was a guy that you guys wanted here. What have you seen from him on tape through this?
Well, Josan's really talented. He's a really talented. He's a super nice kid. He's an elite jump shooter. Who projects well in the future. So he's a guy that if you leave him open, it's no surprise when it hits the bottom of the net. He's got that kind of, I guess as the kids call it today, that kind of strap, that kind of shot.
Perspective on that last shot from Caleb, just kind of, what you saw, your reaction when you saw the ball go in?
When the ball goes in, you're like, wow, we just got maybe a little bit of a gift. Let's take advantage of it. And fortunately we did. It was great. It was a great moment, for our program. I would have liked to play better down the stretch, but, we didn't. And, Caleb made an amazing play to kind of give us an opportunity to win the game. And, Iowa State's a really good program, and it's a meaningful win. But, what I noticed this week is it kind of lit a fire under our fan base, and got people excited about basketball, the way that they oftentimes are here. So that's encouraging. When people are excited about basketball here, it's great for our community.
Before the season, when talking to Carter Brown, he talked about adding good muscle to get ready for Big 12 play and college basketball in general. How do you think that's helped him go through the season and just his development overall?
Well, Carter's really come on. He's really come on since the start of the season, and that's to be expected. I know I was probably trying to slow down and temper expectations on him just a little bit, just because I knew it was going to be a little bit of a process for him. And, but obviously he's trending in the right direction, and, you play well on Monday, now he's got to go out and play well on Saturday. That's what it comes down to. That's kind of the next step for him, is kind of stacking a bunch of these games up back to back. So hopefully he will.
Earlier in the season, you played a lineup with Tobey and Henry a bit. You've kind of moved away from that. What was it about that lineup that maybe?
Well, probably back in the day, Krivas was probably still in the rotation. So, I thought that, we could have a couple of pairings with our 4s and 5s. I thought that Tobey and Henry might be a good pairing, and I thought that Trey and Krivas might be a good pairing. So, you're looking at maybe, cycling your lineups, kind of 2 and 2 with your 4 and 5. That would have been the process there. We've talked about, there are scenarios and maybe we could play those two together again. But, I think that our rotation is, done well lately. And so I don't want to overthink it. And, there might be a day where, you feel like you need a little more size, a little more rebounding, that you can play those two together, because you definitely could play them together.
How do you, speaking of the fan base getting fired up, how do you handle the motion with the guys this week? Like I think you touched on the other night about, going into the big rivalry game. Do you guys have to talk about it a lot, or does some of that go unsaid? Like, hey,
well, I don't think you have to overdo it, but I also think, you gotta let guys know, what this game means to the state of Arizona. A lot of our players are from other states, other countries, so they might not have a full grasp on, the rivalry, and for people that have lived here their entire lives. So you want to let people know, you want to let your players know that this is a meaningful game and it should be treated as such.
That is a guy, Tommy, that he's able to draw a lot of fouls on the inside. With what happened at Oklahoma State, you guys getting into some foul trouble, is that a point of emphasis this week when you have a player like?
I'm not too worried about foul trouble. I think we have enough bodies we can cycle through. Obviously he's proficient at drawing fouls. He's one of the better guys in the country, and we want to play physical, but we want to play clean, and hopefully, we won't be in situations where we're getting a bunch of ticky-tack fouls on him.
Caleb, how do you handle it this week? Do you guys go over what he did the other night, good and bad, or does?
We treat it normal. When you break down the film, you'll go through, positives and negatives, and you just that shot was one moment, and I think we all have a lot bigger, goals and aspirations than, hitting a buzzer beater shot. So, we didn't do anything different this week than we've done in the past. And, I'm excited for February basketball. I think our schedule is really challenging, this month, which is great. I think our guys have, kind of put ourselves in position to, where we're, we continue to take care of business and play well, that, hopefully the postseason's in our future. And, let's build to be successful in the postseason, and that's going to be the mindset.
This is interesting. You said the other day maybe it's a catalyst for him or something.
Well, you hope so. You hope so. It could be. Listen, we know, how heavily scrutinized Caleb's been, and maybe this is a catalyst that kind of kicks him down a really successful path to kind of end his college career. I think he's very deserving of that, and I think that would be great for our team if he could do that. But more importantly, I think it would be great for him.
With Caleb, he's been a lightning rod of sorts. When he first came in the program, there was criticism about his character and stuff like that. But you said many times it's unfounded.
The characters. We haven't had one character issue in 2 years. So, I think that's a pretty good indicator of the type of person he is. Hey, for whatever reason, he's ended up being a lightning rod, and and I guess in social media, when people can voice their opinions that probably really shouldn't matter, they voice their opinions, and for whatever reason, he's been a popular target.
You talk about Joe Son being a nice kid. How that was kind of obviously a little weird the way that went down. You face recruits. Guys.
I don't think it was really complicated. I think they had kind of let us know that if Caleb came back, that coming to Arizona might not be in the cards, and we totally understood that. And
you face guys you targeted all the time. Obviously, does this feel any different facing a guy like him when he was?
Doesn't feel any different. No. I'm sure he'll be excited to play great against us, but we're gonna approach it the same.
The two games that Toby has put together back to back, just dominating the boards. How does that change what this team can do when he's that?
Well, he's really coming on. His consistency's really picking up. He's playing really clean basketball. His finishes, are looking a lot more fluid and easy. And those aren't easy. When you're getting a rebound in traffic and coming down with three big guys around you and kissing it, softly off the glass is really hard to do. So, he's just made a lot of progress. And, I think last game he hit a free throw line jumper. He, had some drives. So, I'm excited about the direction he's going. And to me, it looks like he's going to keep trending in that direction.
What's your thoughts on Quentin's and how he's played for ASU versus you saw him a little bit in that USA camp? He didn't make that team. I know you had a lot of good bigs, but
listen, not making that team doesn't mean you're not a good player. There's a lot of good players that tryouts, and he was a year younger than all those kids. He's really talented, and he's a really nice kid. He's really talented. I was watching their game against West Virginia, and he was impressive. So he's an elite talent. Who's young and figuring it out, but he's gotten off to a great start in his college basketball career for sure.
Anything about the way he's playing in that system seem different to you than what you saw of him, or?
Not really. There's been a lot of growth. He's definitely gotten better. You know, I mean, but I think that's to be expected.
Last one, Bruce?
Yeah, I was going to ask you, I was on the ESPN had a thing, Jimmy Dykes was saying something when you guys were in the Bahamas, how you were telling him you weren't sure if the pieces are going to fit. I know you kind of indicated that back then. I don't know if you remember that conversation, or
I don't
were you telling you were going through a lot at that time. I was just wondering if you reflect back on that again compared to.
No, I mean, listen, I never lost belief in this team. I never did. You know, we hit a hard stretch. We had a hard schedule, and and things kind of unraveled, faster than we could put them back together. I think we've put them back together, but here's the kicker: just because you feel like you put them back together doesn't mean they're going to stay together. You got to keep fighting for it. So, obviously we heading into the midpoint of conference season, and you're going to go into the second half of conference season. I mean, it's only going to get more challenging. So, challenges are going to continue to come. And, the one thing that this team has showed, it showed me, and I think showed, overall, is they can respond, and which is really important, and because I do feel like we've, gotten a lot better. I do feel like the pieces are fitting together now. And, now we just got to keep fighting for that. Thanks, guys.